quiet shift that few people talk about, like birthdays or slower mornings, but the deeper, often unspoken changes. It's a time filled with both wisdom and loss, presence and distance, deep peace, and sometimes deep loneliness. And if you're not prepared for some of those shifts, in this video, we're walking through 5 brutal realities of life after 80. Not to scare you, not to depress you, but to offer clarity. Because when you see these things coming, you're no longer at their mercy. You can prepare for them, and you can meet them with strength instead of surprise. We'll talk about the shrinking circles, the body that doesn't bounce back the way it used to, the creeping dependence that's necessary, the quiet way society starts to overlook you, and that strange ache that shows up when old regrets meet too much time and too little purpose. Stay with us until the end, because they also open the door to resilience and achieve with the kind of dignity no one else. Talk about what really happens after 80 and how you can walk through it with open eyes, steady hands, and your head held high. Number 1. A social circle that quietly disappears. One of the first realities that hits after 80 isn't physical, it's relational. The people who once filled your world begin to fade, often without warning. Friends pass, neighbors move, siblings grow quiet. Even longtime companions who once called every week start calling every few months. It's not personal, it's just time, but it leaves a space that can feel hollow, no matter how strong or independent you are. You wake up one morning and realize the phone doesn't ring like it used to. The invitations slow down. The family visits grow shorter, more rushed. People still love you, but they're busy or distracted or dealing with their own aging in different ways. And slowly, the everyday interactions that once kept your life rich with voices and laughter start thinning out. This isn't something anyone prepares you for. In your 60s and even 70s, most people are still around. There's energy, movement, check-ins. But after 80, there's a shift. You begin to outlive people. You begin to outpace conversations. And that shift is quiet. So quiet that at first, you might not even notice it's happened. I knew a man named Walter, 84, who used to go to the same coffee shop every morning for years. The staff knew his order. His friends met him there without texting first. It was a rhythm, but over time, those stopped driving. One day, Walter told me, "It's strange to walk into a place where everyone used to know your name, and now you're just the man and you didn't agree to." A misstep on the stairs can lead to weeks of you for days. And even when you recover, things don't always return to normal. Your balance might feel off. Your breathing might take more effort. The bounce back isn't what it used to be. I once met a woman named Gloria, 81, who was sharp, active, and proud of her independence. She loved tending her backyard garden, walking the neighborhood, staying engaged with her book club. But after a minor fall while trimming a rose bush, everything changed. It wasn't the injury, it was the aftermath. Weeks of rest turned into months of reduced strength. Her confidence slipped. I thought I was just taking. Body treated it like a full stop. That's the part no one tells you. At 80, rest is not always restorative in the same way. It can turn into decline if you're not careful. And sometimes, even when you're careful, your body decides to slow down anyway. You realize you're not bouncing back. You're adapting forward. But here's the strength and good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, how dependent you are. One of the hardest pills to swallow after 80 is this. You start needing help for things you used to do without thinking. It doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in quietly, subtly, until one day you notice. The desire to stay independent doesn't go away. If anything, it grows stronger. But the truth is, independence after 80 looks different than it did at 60. It's not about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to ask for help and being brave enough to accept it. I knew a man named Eugene, 85, who prided himself on doing everything himself. He had lived through war, raised 4 kids, built his own shed out back with nothing but spare wood and determination. But one winter, he slipped on his icy driveway. No broken bones, just bruised pride. He didn't tell anyone, but his daughter noticed something was different. She started showing up once a week to bring groceries and stay for coffee. At first, Eugene resisted. "I'm fine," he'd say. But over time, that coffee became a ritual. And eventually, he admitted something that surprised even him. It's nice, not having to carry everything alone. That's the shift. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. knowing that accepting help isn't a loss of independence. It's a way of protecting it. Because when you allow someone to help you climb the stairs or drive you to the doctor or carry that heavy bag, you're actually giving yourself more years of doing what matters most. And not all help has to come from people. It can be a grab bar in the shower, a stool in the kitchen, a reminder on the fridge. These little supports don't take away your dignity. They preserve it. After 80, the bravest thing you can say might just be, "I could use a hand." Because the older you get, the more strength you show by choosing safety over pride, peace over struggle, and connection over isolation. Number 4, a presence the world starts to overlook. One of the more painful realities of life after 80 isn't about your body or your memory. It's about your presence. Slowly, you begin to feel invisible. Not to the people who love you, maybe, but to the world at large. The cashier looks past you to the person behind you. The doctor talks to your adult child instead of you. The server at the restaurant assumes you can't hear or think or decide for yourself. It's subtle at first, then it becomes more frequent. And even if you try to brush it off, it lands somewhere deep. Because no matter how old, and when you've lived a full life, worked, raised a family, made decisions, weathered storms, just because your skin has folded or your hair has grayed. What hurts more is that it's rarely meant with malice. A fast world that forgets slow steps still carries stories. A society obsessed with youth that forgets the strength it took to reach this age. And unless you speak up, you risk shrinking. Not because you've lost your voice, but because others stop listening. I remember a woman named Irene, 86, who volunteered at a local museum. One day, a visitor asked the staff a question she could have answered in her sleep. After all, she lived through that very decade of history, but the question skipped right over her. When I asked her how she felt, she just smiled and said, "I'm used to it." But there was sadness in that smile. The kind that comes from being